As you know, during this meeting, if you have any questions, you're welcome to pose your question by speaking your question or by writing your question in the chat box. So if we can start this meeting by turning our attention to the sensation, whatever sensations are rising to us, sensation in our body, sort of an inner listening, open listening, without wanting to change anything, simply being, resting as being. Allowing whatever sensations are arising right now, whatever thoughts, whatever vibrations are arising within the body, allowing them to be, giving them their complete freedom. Invite your mind to the peace, sort of simply resting as presence. Whatever happened a minute ago is gone, and whatever is to happen later on will happen. Right now, here we are, simply being presence. Doing nothing. Notice the breath, the gentle movement of the breath. Whatever thoughts are arising, allow them to arise. Meaning, notice that they are arising like clouds arise in the sky. You simply notice them. Without doing anything. Notice that whenever a thought arises, as you are noticing it, it's gone. Maybe another thought is arising, or maybe nothing is arising, just simply being. Whatever object you look at, whatever sensation you're looking at within your body, when you look for it, it's gone. Notice the sound of this voice, hearing these words. As you're hearing these words, they're gone. Other words take their place, or the silence between words. Same thing when you turn your attention to any sensation within your body, like the sensation of your feet on the ground, When you go to the sensation, you don't find any specific object. And whatever you find, the moment you find it, it's gone, replaced by something else. Everything that appears to you appears like the clouds in the sky, keep changing form. But that which notices, meaning the noticing itself, that does not change. Every moment of your experience is made out of awareness, presence. This aware presence has no name, no form, no shape. And yet you know it, you know yourself as presence, you know yourself as I. In every moment, in every instant. Although the body-mind keeps changing, it is the same I. Although the thoughts keep changing, the sensations keep changing. You know yourself as I, and this I does not change when a thought changes or when a sensation changes. The I does not change. I awareness, is what we refer to as peace. I does not refer to the body mind, does not refer to a man or a woman. I does not refer to a feeling, does not refer to an image. I refers to the peace, the awareness, the presence, which has no owner and no borders. Notice that everything that appears to you, every bit of your experience, refers to I awareness. Everything that you experience it as I. All sorts of things happen within your experience, meaning thinking is constantly flowing, changing. sensations, feelings, memories, emotions, perceptions are constantly changing. But nothing happens at the level of I. So in your experience, notice I. I notices I. I notice I. It's a wordless noticing. It's a noticing that does not require any object. In order to notice a tree, you require a tree in the yard. In order to notice the body, you require a sensation within the body or a perception. In order to notice mind, you need a thought. But to know I, nothing is required. No thought is required. No perception is required. No sensation is required. I know I directly as I am I. I refers to the peace. The causeless peace of being. When I looks for I outside of itself, it is looking for peace outside of itself. When you are looking for peace outside of yourself, you are looking for yourself outside of yourself. And when you look for yourself outside of yourself, you experience a sense of loss and confusion. You experience a sense of lack. You experience a sense of loss. But as soon as you recognize yourself, you recognize the peace of being. Knowing yourself is a sort of resting. It's a non-action, it's resting. In and as the presence that you are. So in this moment, you can invite yourself to rest as being. It's a sort of coming home. the home that you are. You invite yourself to the peace of being. You allow whatever arises. It's complete freedom. And rather than being concerned about what appears, you rest in your essential nature, which is void of any concern. If an image arises about tomorrow, me and time, what's going to happen tomorrow, you feel it, you perceive it, you sense it. Meaning, you remain as awareness, you remain as presence. The presence that you are. Presence, awareness, beingness is not interested in changing anything, is not interested in seeking anything or in attaining anything. It loves to rest as itself. It loves and delights in its own recognition. Whenever you say I, and you are referring to the body-mind, you are mistaken in your reference. Because I is not the body-mind that you perceive. The body-mind, meaning sensations and perceptions and mentations, appear to you, like this perception right now appears to you, like the sensation within your body right now appears to you, like whatever thoughts arising right now appear to you. You are the knowingness of that which appears. Whatever appears to you is not you. You are the awareness, you are the consciousness, you're the presence, you're the knowingness of that which appears. Everything that appears to you appears within you. If you look at a thought or a memory or an image, you will find it appearing within you. Or the sound of this voice. When you look for where is the sound, where is it arising, you will find that it's arising within you. If you look at any sensation within your body and you ask yourself, where is this sensation arising? You will find it's arising within you. You are the knowingness of experiences that appear within you. And this knowingness, as well as the object that it knows, are one, they are intimate. There is the intimacy of being, the intimacy of knowingness. Like right now, you are hearing this voice. When you ask yourself the question, where is this voice arising? You will find it's arising within you. To whom is it arising? It is arising to I awareness. But when you look at this voice and you ask yourself, am I hearing a voice? Or am I hearing my hearing? You experience your experience. You do not experience an object out there. When you are perceiving a tree, you are perceiving your perception. When you are hearing a voice, you are hearing your hearing. When you are perceiving a thought, you are perceiving your perception. In our experience, the so-called object of experience and the experiencer of the experience are intimate, they are one. Which is the wholeness of being. There is nothing that is coming at you. There is nothing that is coming at you, meaning at I awareness, the true you. There is only one you, there is only one I, and this I is not what you imagine yourself to be. If you look at what you imagine yourself to be, you will find that the imagination of what you are keeps changing. If you have 2 or 3 glasses of beer in rapid succession, you perceive yourself very differently from when you are sober. What you imagine yourself to be when you get a good raise is very different from what you imagine and feel yourself to be when somebody else in the office gets the raise and you don't. How you feel and how you perceive yourself when he or she says they love you is very different from how you perceive and feel yourself when the person you love says that they love somebody else and not you. You are not what you imagine yourself to be. What you imagine yourself to be is like the weather, it keeps changing and is not what I is. In our contemplations together, the focus, the emphasis is on realizing what I is, what I am, what I refers to. Not what I think of myself or what I believe myself to be, but what am I truly? What is the reality of the self? What is the reality of consciousness? There is no better place to look than within your own experience. There is no need to go to somebody else and ask them to tell you who you are. When you ask yourself, what is it that is real in my experience in this moment? What is it that knows my experience? What is it that is the reality of my experience? You will find that content of the experience is constantly changing. Only that aware presence, that which does not change, that which can perceive a fire without burning, is the same that which can perceive an ocean without getting wet. The same awareness. irrespective of what is appearing to you, irrespective of what your experience is. When you are concerned and you feel the emotion of fear and concern and worry, you are concerned about the body, you're concerned about the body mind, and you feel and you experience this concern because you have identified yourself with the body mind. Consciousness, which is borderless, infinite, identifies itself with a finite body mind, with a person, with a mortal body mind, and calls itself Magdi or Joey or Billy. And when that identification takes place, then you're experiencing the ups and downs of the world. When it rains, you get wet. When it snows, you get cold. When there is a fire, you burn. Which is the overlooking of the vastness of being. Like being in the bubble of the personal self. The personal self is like a bubble, a sense of limitation. So the contemplation is the contemplation of what you truly are. What am I truly? To get beyond the bubble, beyond the sense of limitation. So if we could, for the rest of the meeting, if you have any questions or any comments, or anything you want to look into, we could take this time together to take your questions. So any questions?
Hello, Magdi. This is George. Can you hear me?
George is trying to talk to you.
Oh, George,
Yeah. Can you
if
hear
you
me?
need to talk, sometimes you may have to unmute yourself. Let me see if I unmute you. George, can you hear me? Well, I cannot hear you.
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
George, maybe you need to unmute your mic.
I just did. Can anybody else hear me?
I can hear you, George.
I can hear you, George.
Okay, I hear Zoe.
I hear George.
George?
Yes, other people have said they can.
Now I hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah. The perception of the oak tree is within awareness. It is here. And there is no, what I hear you say, there is no evidence for any oak tree out there. Am I right so far?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now my question is, what about Magdi
Mm-hmm.
out there?
Mm-hmm.
Don't you have an existence somehow different from the oak tree?
Well, okay. So do I have an existence apart from the oak tree? So when you look at the oak tree, George, or when you think of the oak tree, or when you are embracing the trunk of the oak tree, would you agree that at that moment you are experiencing a perception or a sensation when you are hugging the tree, or an image when you are thinking of the oak tree? Yes? Would you
Yes.
agree with that? Yeah.
Yes.
So the oak tree is taken on a form, or appears to you as an image, a thought, a memory, a perception, or a sensation. Yes?
Yes.
That's what we call the oak tree. It's an appearance to you.
Yes.
Now, when I look at Magdi, I'm going to look at Magdi right now, and you look at George. So we are on the same page.
Okay.
When I look at Magdi right now, I could look, for example, at an image or at an idea I have of Magdi. I can look at, I can take a picture out of my wallet, my passport picture, and look at the picture and say, oh, this is Magdi. So I could be looking at a picture. I can look in the mirror. I can see an image and say, that's Magdi. Or I could look at some bodily sensations that I call Magdi. What else? I can look at the memory, which is a thought or an image. So would you agree with me that when I experience Magdi, I experience Magdi as a thought, a memory, an image, a perception? Like I look at my hand and say, well, that's Magdi. Or a sensation.
Yes. Yes.
In
I
other
agree.
words, my experience of Magdi is experience of sensation, of a perception, and of a mentation. Yes?
Yes.
Which in a way is similar to my experience of the oak tree, because my experience of the oak tree is a sensation, a perception, or a meditation. Yes?
Yes.
And also, when I look at the sensations that I refer to as Magdi, they change. And when I look at the images of Magdi, 12-year-old, 15-year-old, 30-year-old, they change. Similarly with the oak tree. So whatever you are perceiving, whether it's sensations, meditations, or perception, you are perceiving, let's say, a form that moment by moment is what it is. Yes?
Yes.
And we can call it Magdi, we can call it George, we can call it oak tree, we can call it frog, we can call it chair. So when you contemplate that everything that you perceive, everything that you know, can be reduced to sensation, perception, and mentation.
Yes.
And that this perception, sensation, and mentation appear to you, meaning you are the knowing, you are the knower, you are the knowingness of them.
Yes.
And also they appear in you. In other words, perception is not outside of you, the mentation is not outside of you, the sensation is not outside of you. Yes?
Yes.
So they appear to you and within you.
Yes.
And next step is maybe a little bit more delicate, but we have to go there. Also, the sensation is made out of you.
Okay. That's harder. Okay.
Let's look right now at the sensation. Go to sensation.
Okay. Yes, I can see that. Yeah.
You can see that. Okay. So,
Yeah.
so the perception, the sensation, the mentation is known by you, is appearing within you, and it is made out of you.
Yes. That last step is the hardest to see, but
So
yes.
it's
Okay.
a very important step.
Okay. Well, then,
Very important step. That the
okay.
when you look at the perception, what is it made out of? It's made out of myself. Its substance, its essence is the knowingness of it.
Okay. Yeah. That's where I'm having. I can. That's where it
What-
takes a little getting.
What other substance would your perception have outside of you?
No, I got it. Yes. It cannot have any substance outside of me because it's all inside of me.
Yeah, and it's therefore made out of you. Yes.
Therefore, made
So-
out of me. Okay.
So now let's go to your question. What was your question?
Well, okay. So the oak tree is made out of me. What about, from my point of view, what about Magdi? Is Magdi
Yes.
made out of me?
Oh, well, what is Magdi to you? Magdi to you is it something else in perception, mentation, and sensation? Right now you perceive an image, right?
Right. You know, it's all, yeah, I understand that, but it's hard for me. It almost leads to solipsism. It's saying there's no oak tree out there. It's all part of me. And then there's no Magdi out there. It's all
There-
part of me. And that's
there-
hard.
Okay, the reason why it is not solipsism is that the me is not my personal mind.
Ah, I see. Okay.
The me is awareness. The I is awareness.
Okay. I think I see it now. So in
So
okay,
there is a personal mind. For example, right now you do not know, meaning mind. George's mind does not know Magdi's mind.
right. Yes.
George's body, meaning the sensations within George's body, do not know the sensations within Magdi's body.
Right.
So there are separate minds. There is a private aspect to mind, and there is a shared aspect to mind. For example, right now we are talking, we are sharing. For example, we both can think of New York City,
Right.
so we can share the idea or the image New York City. But there are aspects of our mind that are not shared. But the solipsism would say that the only reality is my mind. Everything that I experience is my mind. There is only one reality, which is my mind. No other minds exist.
That's what solipsism would say. Yeah.
That's what solipsism would say. But
Right.
what I am sharing is that all we know, everything that we know is made out of consciousness, is made out of awareness. It's not made out of my individual mind. My individual mind, meaning thoughts, sensations, and perceptions, are known by consciousness.
Right.
Via a particular mind, via George's mind. Where do you live, George?
Dallas.
Dallas. Via George's mind, consciousness perceives Dallas. Via Magdi's mind, consciousness perceives Northern Virginia.
Right.
So solipsism would say there is no such thing as any other mind outside of my own.
Yes. That's what solipsism would say. Yes.
Yeah. So I'm not talking about solipsism.
Okay. Thank you. I see the distinction.
Yes.
Very good. Thank you. I appreciate it.
When you turn your attention to consciousness, when you contemplate consciousness, you realize, first of all, that consciousness is real, meaning everything that you perceive is perceived by that same awareness, the same consciousness. The breakfast you had this morning was the same I that witnessed breakfast than the consciousness that is right now hearing these words or perceiving this perception. So the contemplation of consciousness is the contemplation that leads you to the understanding that I is real, I consciousness is real. I'm not talking about I the body or I the mind, or I consciousness is real. And that this I consciousness is non-phenomenal. The body is phenomenal, the mind is phenomenal, the world is phenomenal, meaning it operates within conditions. If you drop a glass, it breaks. If you light a match and throw it on some papers, it will burn the paper. But consciousness is non-phenomenal. It does not have any objective quality to it. Although it is real, it is non-objective. So reality is non-objective. This is in our, not our belief system. In our belief system, it's a different thing. In our belief system, the tree is real. Matter is real. Yes?
Yes, yes.
But in our experience, a tree is a perception, sensation, or mentation. That's our experience of the tree. We don't experience an actual tree out there. We don't experience objects. We don't experience matter. We experience our experience. And the reality of our experience is awareness. It's important to understand that awareness is non-phenomenal, and there are many other aspects to awareness which are also very important to contemplate and to understand. You're okay, George?
Yeah, okay. That last sentence, you said there are many other important
Aspect of
awareness to understand.
Yes.
What are those other important aspects?
Well, for example, that awareness has no owner.
Right.
It's non-localized. It's not localized.
Oh, yes, of course. Yeah, I get it. Yes.
And that awareness has no beginning and no end.
No borders. Yes.
No borders.
No physical location. No borders. No mass. Yes. Okay,
Yes.
I got it. Yes.
And that awareness is, although a forest can burn, like unfortunately in California the last season, awareness does not burn. Awareness is not affected by its dreams. It's not affected by what affects the mind, the infinite minds. And also, awareness refers to I. Awareness meaning is eternal. Eternal meaning it is not in time. A forest is in time because when a fire comes, the forest no longer is. Or when 2,000 years pass without a fire, the tree is no longer, the forest no longer is. It is in time. The mind, the world is in time. Objects are in time. But consciousness is not in time, it is eternal. And it's important to also understand that when we're talking about consciousness, we're not talking about some concept. We're talking about the reality of our experience. I'm talking about myself. and there is no other self. There aren't two selves. There aren't two I. There are many minds and many bodies, but there are not two I. There are not two awareness. You follow, Josh?
Yes.
From the point of view of the mind, that's blasphemy.
Yes. Yes. I can see that. Yes.
Because the mind says, no, the mind is conscious. Consciousness belongs to the mind. Your mind is your consciousness. Her mind is her consciousness. From the point of view of the mind, it's blasphemy.
Yes.
But the mind, there is no such a thing as a mind. When we say mind,
Right. That's just a concept. Yes.
we're referring to thinking, we're referring to thoughts, perceptions, and mentation.
Right.
So we're referring to that which is known. Yes?
Yes.
We're not referring to something that knows, right?
Yes.
So the mind is not knowing, it is
Yes.
known. Huh?
Yes. The mind can't know anything. Right.
It's known, yes.
Right. Yes.
Yes. So when the mind says, oh, this is blasphemy, the mind is sort of telling you, hey, listen, I know better.
Right.
That which is known is assuming, is luring you or attempting to lure you in believing that it knows.
Yes. I got it. Yes.
Yes.
I really appreciate this. Thank you very much. All right.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome.
Hi.
Hello,
I have a
Chloe.
question.
Hi, Chloe. Yes, Habibti. By the way, Chloe is my daughter, Chloe. Lovely to see you, Chloe. Yes, Chloe, I'm listening.
My question, how do you function from conscious awareness reality in mundane tasks or in everyday choice making or things you do on a daily basis?
Yes, yes, yes. So what's important to understand, Chloe, is that whenever we are operating in the world out of fear or out of some emotion, we are operating in order to manage our emotion. We're operating in order to get beyond our emotion, to feel better. So it's important to understand that process, that within, one moment, Chloe. Okay, Rashmi. So Chloe, it is important to understand that process, that whenever you are in your life encountering a situation, we have a tendency to encounter a situation by liking it or disliking it. We like it when it is in accordance with our ideas, with our beliefs, with our desires. And I'm going to just mute things a little bit, just mute so no. And we resist what happens in our life when it is not in accordance with how our ideas and our notions, how things should be. So it's just important to understand that. Also, usually, for most of us, when we are engaged in the world, we are engaged in the world in a way where we are trying to find in the world happiness, peace and happiness in the world. When we are trying to find peace and happiness in the world, we are trying to find peace and happiness in something that's constantly changing, The world is constantly changing. Our feelings constantly change. Our partners change. The economy changes. Our health changes. When we are trying to find peace and happiness in something that is changing, it's like you're trying to ride a river standing on a log. It's very unstable. You will find yourself riding a roller coaster. One moment you are happy, and the next moment you are disappointed. So then the question is, then how do we live in the world? Well, before we look at how do we live in the world, we need to look at the question, do we live in the world as what? Are we living in the world as a person, as a mortal body mind? Because if we are living in the world as a mortal body mind, then right from the onset, we know that the body mind is mortal, meaning after 30, 40, 50, 60, 100 years, this body mind is going to die. So already, right from the start, you have what I call the thorn of mortality. There is the thorn of mortality that is haunting you. Plus, you know that if you are living in the world as a person, the person is so unstable. Psychologically, it's unstable. Physically, it's unstable. Emotionally, it's unstable. So therefore, you are living in the world from a position of being unstable, of being changing. So it is already, right from the start, chaotic. Now, the question comes in, well, what other options do I have? Here I am this person. What other option do I have? You're telling me that not to live as a person. How else can I live? Well, if you consider, and you have to have an interest in that, what am I? Am I Chloe? Am I Chloe? I don't want to deny the body Chloe, the mind Chloe, but I. When you say I, Chloe, what are you referring to? Because your question is, how do we live, is not the correct question. The better question, or the more crucial question, is as what or as whom are we living? Are we living as a body, as a person? And if we are living as a person, good luck. Good luck. When you ask yourself, what am I? You come upon consciousness. And the way consciousness lives, it lives freshly. It lives innocently. It lives out of love. It lives out of the understanding that happiness is what I am, not happiness is what I will get or what I will become or how my relationship will be or how my job will be or how the economy will be. I consciousness means I is already peace and happiness. So the challenge is, how do we live from peace and happiness? Not seeking peace and happiness, not hoping and praying for peace and happiness, but as peace and happiness. When we are haunted by the beliefs that something may happen to me. It's a good question, and it's a big question. And there is no shortcut around your question, Chloe. Sooner or later, you have to come to ask yourself, am I that which I imagine myself to be? Am I what I feel myself to be? Am I what I think myself to be? What am I truly? And so you, within this contemplation, which takes a while, you find that you start to live from a place of not knowing, from a place of surrender. So you will find that in life, the more you are resisting what is happening, the more you are creating internal conflicts and unhappiness, not just for yourself, but for everybody around you. So there is a way of living in the world where you are trusting, where you are surrendering, where you are saying yes. So consciousness is yesness. That's another word for consciousness. Consciousness is yesness. Does not mean I'm stupid. It does not mean that if my tooth is hurting, I say yes to that, I don't go to the dentist. No, that is not intelligent. You are managing, of course, the body, but you are not the body. Although you are not the body, you can be a very good manager of the body. Although you are not the mind, meaning you are not your thoughts, you can be very good managers of your thoughts, meaning invite yourself to to contemplate friendly actions, friendly behaviors, friendly companions, people that relationships that are sweet, relationships that invite within you, not just we need to get this, we need to get that in order to be happy, but invite in you a celebration of the love, a celebration of the peace, a celebration of the joy. So to summarize your question, Chloe, I would say that contemplate what am I truly, contemplate the reality of your experience, contemplate consciousness, and notice the tendency to resist. Notice the tendencies to defend, notice the tendencies to protect, to contract, and invite yourself to relax. Invite yourself to sort of embrace it all, allow what is unfolding to unfold. Be transparent as much as you can. Be transparent in the world and in your relationships. You may be muted, Chloe. I think you are muted. Je t'entends pas. Je t'entends pas.
How about now?
Oui, je t'entends. Là, je t'entends. I hear you now.
Good. Okay. Like, okay, so what about a decision between like, what do I wear today? Or should I stay here or should I go to the beach today? It's like, just go with something without resistance, just go with the unknowingness of what will occur and like be cool with it. And whatever comes from it, be cool with that too.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. It sounds good. Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah.
So that there really is no like right or wrong decision. There is no, oh my gosh, I should have done this. There is just the unfolding, and as it occurs, you just go with it, and then you can alter the path on the next.
Yes, I would say yes to that, Chloe, except that just to be watchful that your actions honor others, do not violate others, do not hurt others. To take that in consideration in your life, because we are interconnected. It's one consciousness. So if A is suffering, then I am suffering. Yeah. So I what you said resonates. Yes, of course. It's a play. It's a play, and the purpose of the play is not in order to safeguard anything. One could say that the purpose of the play is to realize your true nature, is happiness. And if you are living in happiness and as happiness, then there are no questions, really. Now, happiness does not mean necessarily a happy body. Happiness does not mean that all your personal desires are being fulfilled. If your happiness depends on the health of your body, or if your happiness depends on the fulfillment of your desires, well, good luck. That's because you will be disappointed. Happiness and freedom go hand in hand. Yes? So there is a happiness. I start from happiness. I am not looking for it somewhere else. I start from happiness. But when I start from happiness, I am starting from my recognition as being consciousness, as being the substance of all experiences, and not an object that needs to be fulfilled in the world. And also, there's also living in presence, meaning not to be living a story about myself, but to living in the freshness of presence. There is a freshness to being, a freshness to this moment, which is brand new, completely alive, and very, very exciting and fresh. And it doesn't have a past or a future. It is whole and complete within itself in this moment. So in this moment, there is wholeness and completeness, irrespective of what's happening. Nothing is happening to awareness. Nothing is happening to what I is. Now, there may be something happening for the body, but I is not the body. Where are you now, Chloe?
I'm sitting on my rooftop in
wonderful.
Brooklyn.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, in the sunshine.
Yeah, I could see a sunny day. Very lovely. Everything okay with King? And, yeah?
Yeah.
Please say hello to King from me, yeah? And Tara.
I will, Papa.
Love you.
I love you. Thank you.
Okay, Habibti. Any questions?
Hi, Magdi.
Yes, hello, Zoe.
Hi,
Oops, I'm not hearing you, Zoe.
anyway,
I hear you now.
oh, okay. Did you hear my comment about
No.
seeing Chloe? Okay,
No.
it was just a delight to get to see her.
I know, it's lovely to
Okay, so yeah, and you know, I was thinking about, you told us these 3 fortunes, finding self-inquiry, and one of them is meeting a living teacher, and I can only just go, wow, to have a dad as a living teacher. Super cool. Let's see. So there was some line that I heard. It is like, if A requires B and B requires A, then they are one, which is, you know, basically just another way of recognizing that, you know, anything I perceive, anything I see, anything I hear, that oneness has to be there.
I wouldn't use the verb require, Zoe. A is B, B is A. There's no requiring, and at least the way I understand the term requiring, like, you know, like the sunshine, the sun and its light, the sun and the light of the sun. Does the sun require its light, or does the light require the sun? No, the sun and the light of the sun and the heat of the sun, they're one. They are one. So consciousness and its dream, consciousness and the world and the body and the mind are one. Now, one could say, just using the metaphor of the sun, that the light, you can look at the light, but you will not see the sun. In order to see the sun, you have to follow the light to its source. When you follow the light to its source, you look up and then you see the sun. Similarly, in the world, body, mind, in your thinking, in your feelings, in your emotions, in your experiences, if you're looking for reality, if you're looking for consciousness, if you're looking for peace, if you're looking for happiness, you have to look at the source. You have to follow thinking or feeling or perceptions or sensations to their source, to their reality. And this is the path to peace. The path to peace is the realization of the source. And although there are no two, that A is B and B is A, B leads to A. The contemplation, the correct contemplation of B leads to A, although B is A and A is B. I don't know if I said that clearly or...
Crystal clear. Thank you, Magdi.
Any questions?
Hi, Magdi.
Yes, hello, Maria.
Oh, gosh, I love what you just said about the sun and the light. So just so that I totally understand that correctly, you follow the light to the source of the light.
Yes.
You see that it's the sun.
Mm-hmm.
So the light would be, in our case, as the body mind, the light would be the sensing, the thinking, or all the stuff that makes up what we think we are, or what the body mind
Yes.
is.
Yes.
And then we trace that back to the source of where that thinking, sensing, and all of that is arising.
Yes. Yes. So just in this metaphor of the sun and the rays of the sun, in our contemplation, we contemplate our experience. So our experience would be like the rays of the sun. So we look at our experience and we ask ourselves, what is it that knows my experience? When you ask yourself, what is it that knows my experience? Already you are asking a question about the sun.
Mm-hmm.
And you will realize that that which knows my experience is I awareness, not I Magdi, not I the body mind, I awareness. Everything that I perceive is known by I. Yes? So that would be the first part of the path.
Mm-hmm.
And then you ask yourself, well, where does my experience arise? And you will find that my experience arises within consciousness, within I. There is nothing that I experience outside of myself. Everything that I experience, my entire experience, arises within I. I awareness, by the way, George, not I the mind, because that would be solipsism. And the next question you ask yourself is, what is the relationship between I awareness and experience? And you will find that the relationship is a relationship of complete intimacy, of complete love, meaning there is zero distance between between I awareness and the objects of awareness. In other words, when you look at where is my perception in relation to the awareness of the perception, you will find that the perception and the awareness of the perception are one. You follow?
Yeah. Yeah.
And,
when you go back to if A is B and B is A, then we are one.
They're one, right. And finally, it's important to understand that this is not an academic exercise. We're not just trying to be great philosophers. We are looking at our experience. We are looking at the reality of our experience. In other words, we are looking at what is. And when you look at the reality of your experience, you will find there is one element that we all refer to in our experience, which is I. We all say I. I am here, I am traveling, I am having lunch, I. We're talking about I. But so the contemplation of our experience, the way I just spoke about it, leads us to the realization that I refers to consciousness, refers to awareness. Next, as I was mentioning earlier with George, that you contemplate the various qualities of awareness, of consciousness. So you realize that consciousness is impersonal, is non-local, is eternal, is infinite, is non-phenomenal. And this contemplation is tracing the rays of the sun towards the sun. You follow, Maria?
Yes.
Once there is that understanding, what remains, which is sometimes referred to as the submerged part of the iceberg, is to live, like Chloe was asking, is to live according as consciousness. And it's very challenging when we have been living for lifetimes upon lifetimes as a personal self, seeking pleasure and happiness in the world, seeking in the world, resisting, fighting, arguing. When we have been living for that for so long, we are conditioned within the body to contract, to resist, to fight, to blame, to defend. These tendencies are within the body. And so now the challenge is, I would say that the next phase of our contemplation, of our life as consciousness is to live it. So there are various pointers that are helpful in that direction.
Yeah, Mighty,
Yes.
I had to close the restaurant last week.
Okay, yes.
And we gave a good severance package to take care of our workers.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And however, there is a big dominance of fear amongst them all, primarily with the basic necessities. And I have found myself saying, trust and live in the present moment. Don't go into the future.
Yes.
Take the opportunity to enjoy the family.
Yes.
Breathe, pause.
Yes.
Let's do Qigong together.
Beautiful.
So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if there's anything else I could, that you could point me to in order to comfort people in that state.
Yes. The greatest help you can give to your employees, your friends, your family in this time is your inner peace, your peace.
Mm-hmm.
Is I mean, of course, all what you just said right now in terms of telling people to breathe and think positively and do Qigong and the various yogas and so on is very good, very good. But alongside that, and I would say even more importantly, is you sharing your own peace, the peace of being. So. So we come together and also alone, and we contemplate. Of course, we all are looking for peace. We're all seeking peace and happiness in everything we do. In everything we do, we are seeking peace and happiness. So here we are now in a situation here that's challenging. Where is the peace? Where is the peace? Obviously, the world is moving, is shaking, is unstable. But it's always been unstable, Maria, always. I mean, not on such a global and dramatic and drastic level, but if you look at, for example, people in war zones, even 5 years, even 3 years ago, if you look at their world, they may even prefer to have the virus than to have. I'm sorry, I don't mean it this way. I mean that it's always, the world has always been like that, unstable, but that's how the weather is. This is how the dream is. Look in your dreams. At night when you are dreaming, things are constantly changing. One moment you're a butterfly, next moment you are a person traveling, maybe in India or whatever. It's constantly change. Is the nature of mind. Yes. What is it in your experience that is changeless? That is real. The real does not change. When you ask yourself that question, you're starting to come towards the source, towards the peace that does not depend on health or on wealth. Anyways, just coming back, Maria, yes, you can share the peace. You can share how you are with them, how you are with yourself. You see, when you are experiencing the peace of being, then naturally, without even saying a word, they can sense that. You see, so, and that's very helpful. It calms down their emotions. You see. Yes, and this is an amazing opportunity, because this situation is sort of pointing to us all of what we valued, all what we thought was of value, that seemed to be our world, our meaning, is sort of being like taken away from us. What remains? It's interesting. What remains? So
it's a beautiful question. What remains?
Yeah. And and of course, we help each other. We're available for each other. We do the best we can with each other. But within our own experience, there is that which I am, which is being pointed at directly via this situation, not what I have, not what I'm thinking about my world, not what I'm thinking about my family. But what is it? What is it? What is it that cannot be taken away?
Yeah, what you just said about sharing the peace, that the best gift is sharing one's own peace. So living in presence could also be viral and could also be contagious. And
Oh,
this is kind of a great opportunity for that to also happen.
yes, yes, yeah, absolutely. And our true nature is indivisible. It's one ocean, one ocean, and yes, yes, we touch each other in ways that the mind cannot imagine, cannot know. We're it's even more intimate than touching each other. We are one. It's like how do two drops of water touch each other? they're same substance, you see. And yes, the peace. Yes, and, and also, I mean, whenever an anxiety arises, to meet it, to inviting yourself to meet it from a place of embrace, loving it, welcoming it, is saying yes to it. Yes, I can feel that. Yes, I can feel that. Not just, yes, oh my God, what's happening to me? But I embrace it all. I can somehow, I'm saying yes to all of it, including this sense of anxiety and worry and trouble, to sort of, in a way, there is a universal worry, and we are not impermeable to it. We are permeable to it. We sense it. We sense it. We feel it, and but we're open. Because we're open, it shines through us. It doesn't sort of get stuck here. It shines through us. We can feel it, experience it, sense it, but without holding on to it or trying to fix it or making a problem out of it. And also like, I mean, the issue of life and death it's a very important issue to contemplate in your life. There's no way around it, because life and death is part of our experience. What is it that dies? I mean, what is it that dies? What is it that dies? And to go into this question, whenever the question, if the question appeals to you, or whenever it appeals to you, what is it that dies? I mean, obviously we know about bodies dying, and flowers dying, and trees dying, and animals dying. But the question is there a death to I? Does I die? What is it that dies? Yes, the body dies. We all know that. But what is it that knows that? I know that. Does the I that knows, what is that I that knows? You see, is the I that knows this perception right now, does it have a name? Is there, like the I that right now hears these words, Is that a female hearing or a male hearing or a tall hearing or a tired hearing? No. The eye doesn't have the qualities of the objects that it perceives. Of course, the forms come and go. So there's also the contemplation of, because our concerns is about the ending, my ending. I mean, it's like putting it dramatically. I mean, there are many other concerns, but one of the concerns is about my ending. So the question is, what is it that ends? Do I end? Just to keep the question open. Keep it, see if there is any life in this question. Okay, Maria. Beautiful. Okay. Yes. So it is 4 o'clock. If there is any other question. Okay. Okay, well, because it's 4 o'clock, I thank you all for your lovely company. Very lovely to see you all, and lovely to see you, Clo. Very lovely to see you and see you all, and Aya and Cecilia, Chalo, and Clo, Elsa, Maria, Emmanuel, Emma, hello Esther, and Gabby, and hello Jeff, good to see you Jeff, and George, Holly, Isabel, and whoever else, names I cannot see. I apologize and I thank you all.
Thank you, Magdi.
Okay, Zoe. Okay.